A motion to approve the agenda as distributed. Move. Seconded. Vote. Carried. Okay. A motion to approve the agenda as distributed. Okay.
None.
Hearing none, we'll proceed to the approval of the minutes of the last meeting. We have a motion to approve the minutes.
A second.
Carried. Okay, we do have 3 applicants. We will be spending some time, so I think we'll just proceed with first. Item 1 is 41897 Ontario Limited. Who wants to speak on that?
Mr. Chairman, I'm the Director of Planning, Ms. Paul Walsh. I'm author of the report recommending approval of the minor variance for 1.2 meter interior side yard as shown on the submitted site plan with the application. It is a relief from, I believe the interior side yard requirement of the zone is otherwise about 3 meters. And the reduction of the interior side yard is indicated by the applicant as necessary to allow for a single-story townhouse as opposed to 2-story with added square footage required or requested on the ground floor area. Some necessity in responding to market needs have been suggested, and therefore increasing of the ground floor area is being sought through the decrease of the interior side yard. The recommendation of approval comes with some recommended conditions. One, that grading and drainage plan be demonstrated to the satisfaction of the chief building official, which is something in due course that is normally given regard at the time of a building permit. But secondly, also that the interior side yards are free from encumbrances in the form of air conditioners, gas connections, and this sort of thing. And that be demonstrated to the satisfaction of the municipality to ensure that passage of pedestrians and particularly emergency service personnel such as fire have a means of accessing to the back. And so those are the recommendations, Mr. Chairman.
Has everyone had a chance to look at this property and look at the map? So we don't have the applicant online, is that what I understand?
Mr. Chairman, we do have the agent on the for the application here with us, Mr. Anthony Dwyer.
Ah, okay.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I don't have any need to elaborate on Mr. Walsh's comments, but I am happy to answer any questions that the committee might have. We are asking for relief on the interior side yards in this area of what we call medium density housing. And we are responding to market response within the community. I have subsequently built some 2-story townhouse residences within the same subdivision that did not get high interest levels from members of the local population. However, in floating this product out there, it has had high success amongst local people looking to acquire a smaller, downsized, medium density property. similar to my to my semi-detached. By moving to the townhouse, we're able to offer some greater affordability to members of the community by reducing the additional land cost associated with a semi-detached. So hence, we're hoping for some relief on only the interior side yards, and they will be comparable to what we have between the semi-detached units.
Any questions?
It's a reduction to about what, 4 feet? So there'd be 8 feet between the row.
All you can get is more gas and the air conditioning. You mentioned fences. That will be prohibited.
Through the chair, that's correct. The fences are also to be prohibited within that interior side yard as reduced.
I guess my question is, how in the long term, once these houses get built and lived in, how do you stop that? Is there anything in the proposed fencing bylaw that says you can't get within a certain distance to the wall of a building or anything?
Through the chair, that's a good question. There's nothing proposed in the draft fencing bylaw. Maybe something can still be put into it. I'll make a note of that. My understanding is that the committee's decision stays in effect for ever, in essence. So if there was an observation or a complaint that there was a fence being erected, we would have the authority under the decision of the committee to have it removed.
My second question is that, I say they're only going to be 8 feet apart between the two walls of the building. I guess from a longer term maintenance, from the homeowner's point of view, I've only got 4 feet to get, do my siding or my eavesdrop or whatever. And if I don't like my neighbor or my neighbor doesn't like me, we could end up in a bit of a squabble. I don't know, 4 feet. 4 feet's enough to get in there and maintain the side of the building.
If I may, if I could speak to the member's first point too, I did note with Mr. Walsh that we would include the fencing restriction within the offer of purchase and sale, so that the client would be notified at the time of signing to purchase those interior side yard units. And secondly, the provision for a 4-foot side yard is consistent within other products within the community. So the semi-detached, the single detached, we are permitted to reduce down to a 0.9 meter side yard under the building code. If we have openings, which becomes an unprotected opening, we are to the 4 foot. So it would be consistent with other products that are being granted permit within the community.
Through the chair. That is a good question, and some of that was addressed during pre-consultation with the applicant. That and staff felt supportive of the reduced side yard, keeping in mind the maintenance challenges there because it's only 1 story. And secondly, staff observed the grade to be generally flat, and because the grading and drainage plan is a condition, we can have regard for that as well in ensuring that the grades are adequate for the erection of a ladder, even if it's a tall step ladder, that sort of thing.
Any further questions?
Yes, yeah, I have a few. The angle of the roofs, are they going to be sloping front to back or side to side? Are they going to be sloping towards the 4 foot, or are they going to be sloping front to back? Which way is the roof are going to be sloping on this?
Through Mr. Chairman to the member, the drawing is in front of us. The predominant slope throughout the entire building is from front to rear, according to the trusses. However, on the ends, it is a cottage roof design. So the cottage roof will not have a gable end going up with to speaking to the first member's comment, there won't be siding above the 8-foot level. It will be simply a shingle roof, so a cottage end, so shingles above the 8-foot section of roof line. So the roof line's breaking away from that side yard.
So, so inconsistent with the other product that you've done in this neighborhood, I have gone and talked to some of these neighbors that have the restricted side yards. And that's one of the huge problems that they have, is that they wish they had more space because the snow goes between the two of them, and they don't have access through the winter. So when it comes to a safety or fire department or somebody that would have to go there, they would have a problem. The next thing that they said in this, that you wouldn't have any windows on that side. So if you potentially had a side, even if you're in the center, but you're on the end, if you're in a fire, you can't get out. It restricts you from getting out. Maintenance to the front and backyard. I have a problem with that getting there, because I look at the products that are in that neighborhood and the problems that are there, and talking with the neighbors that have already bought these products with those restrictions. I also went and looked at the units, that one of them has a generator, and they're allowed to have it on the thing for an APU for alternate power. One of the things that wasn't taken into consideration on these things is that for the APUs and the alternate powers weren't there. If they want to put one on they're going to have to put on the backyard. They won't be able to put it on the side yard. The restriction on air conditioning, most of them are elevated. None of them, because of where the snow comes, you have to elevate the air conditioners in the shaded area. So they have to be elevated off the ground. You can't put them on a concrete pad with the shortened distance, which causes a problem and a maintenance thing for the people that are living there now. They also have their air conditioner attached with a metal rod that basically is going to create maintenance and stuff over the next 10 or 12 years or 15 years, because it's a bad metal railing with poor weld and poor bolts that are put in. So when you look at restricting it, and it's a neighborhood that still hasn't been established, and asking to restrict it with the neighbors not being there with a minor variance. When I look at a minor variance, most of them are established neighborhoods. They're coming here to approach on the property line or do something that hasn't been there. Your two-story units that you have there, they're all sold. So there is a need for them and to come. So they are selling them. And so I have a problem with this minor variance in a brand new subdivision and restricting the yards for the citizens and the people that are going to be coming here. They're going to be your customers when they come, but once they're there for a period of time to pay the taxes, they're going to become residents, and they're going to be calling on the councillors that are supposed to govern and elected to govern correctly and to look at these things. So for me, I am not in favor of this at this time until there's more, because the snow, if I look at your drawings, is going to go there. And I don't think it goes with the trend of the neighborhood of restricting everything in and bringing it closer together. So that's my opinion.
Do we have any correspondence regarding this application?
I've received none at 67 Sharp Road.
Okay.
I would like to see a recorded vote.
Further discussion? If not, and also request for a recorded vote.
Ready for the vote?
Do we have a motion?
Yes. Motion that we have a recorded vote on this thing, yay or nay. For me, I'm a no. Okay, I make a motion to reject the application.
Any further discussion?
I'll second the motion.
Motion seconded.
Recorded vote. We'll start with Mr. Chairman, Jim Kovacs.
We have to start with
Yes or
me.
no? They start with the councillor. Thank
Yeah,
you.
because I called the recorded vote.
Very good.
No.
No.
Do I need to vote?
Yes or no?
Yeah, the motion to deny this is already, majority of the committee has ruled, so I will go with the majority.
Thank you.
The second application is submitted by Wesley Frederick Shell. Historic Library agent. Property on 54 Georgina Street.
Hello?
Or wait till Mary Ann comes back.
Mr. Chairman of the committee, this is application minor variance AO 5/2020 under the name of Wesley Frederick Shell, agent James Larmer. Location is 54 Georgina Street in this urban municipality, urban portion of the municipality of Brighton. Staff recommendation is to approve the minor variance. The request for the minor variance is to allow for an increased height of an accessory structure to a maximum height of 6.85 meters. From the otherwise restricted maximum of 4.5 meters in height. The need for the increase in height is due to it being an accessory structure rather than other structures that would permit that height. The uses of the building have been demonstrated to be keeping and suitable to the nature of the character of the lot. Largely, it's intended to have storage for machinery, landscaping machinery in particular has been cited. The second story, kind of a walkout type building. The second story would be used for a future workshop and studio. And the recommendation is to approve the increase in height of one accessory structure to a maximum height of 6.85 meters as requested.
Okay. Where are we?
Yes, I don't know if you can hear me, but yes, I'm here.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
So first, go ahead.
Sorry, is it my turn?
Yes. You want to speak on behalf of your application?
Sorry, I think I can't hear you very well. Can you repeat that? Sorry, sir.
Go ahead and speak on behalf of your application.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I think it's been summarized pretty well that what we're looking to do is to put a building up that is economical for us to build because looking through the bills and sorting out different elements of what we're looking for, a building wider and lower didn't seem feasible to us. And so accomplishing our goals to effectively have the space required to put our personal effects in. And as alluded to, we have a landscape tractor to look after and maintain the property. There's some bush hogging to do and some driveway clearing. We have a little, it's a little BX26, but it needs a higher door to let the thing go in because it has a higher, it has a cab to it. We need at least 10 to 11 feet. So yeah, so that we started building higher, and of course we want a wood shop, and then we need storage for my dad's. He's recently moved, so we're looking to accommodate some of his personal effects as he adjusts to retirement life. And so it was a project that we had embarked on together. And yeah, and so that brings us here, but I don't really have more to add to it other than that.
Is there anyone else speaking for or against the application? Hearing. Do we have any correspondence?
Excuse me, none was received at 67 Sharp Road at the planning office.
Okay, any questions?
Through you, Chair, could I ask James a question? We are going through a procedure bylaw that's going to be amended for short-term accommodation. And when I was reading this, you wanted to do something in the loft and running. Are you going to be hooking this up to water and the septic in the future or presently? Is it going to be heated? Are you going to be able to use it as a secondary dwelling or as a rental property? Because we have passed that in our first year of council that you could have it. And is one of the things that you're looking to do that with this this nice structure that you want to build?
So as of now, we don't have a plan to do that. It would never be a short-term rental, that's for sure. We have no interest. I have no interest in having visitors to my property than are people I know. No, like I think this structure for us was to be used just as it was stated. We do have water going to that structure because if we wanted to hose down machinery or have water at the back of our property, it would be nice to have. We'll have power there, obviously, because it's a bigger structure. We'll need lights, and if it's going to be a shop, it will need to have the appropriate electricity brought to it. Will it be heated in the future? Possibly, but not right now. We'll work on those options later, but right now it's not slated to have any septic system put in. And if it ever did come to pass, which again is not on our agenda right now, obviously we'd go through the right measures to have that stuff applied for, to have it installed.
Yeah. I guess further to Councilor Bong's question, I guess it's for your own personal use, storage and workshop. It's not contemplated for any type of commercial activity or anything.
Absolutely, no commercial activity at all.
Thank you.
Yeah, like the track. So the landscape equipment, it is that my stepdad ran a landscape company out of Oshawa for 46 years. So he has a couple of tractors that he's not willing to part way with yet as we develop our land and landscape it. And I mean, he's auctioned off, most of his equipment. But and the other application here with the bigger bay on the door was going to be potentially to have like a camping trailer put in there at some level, or to some in the future potentially if we buy that. So that way it's not sitting out on the property, taking the weather. So, and we also have a bunch of boats, to be honest. So we have lots of use for that building, and it's probably not big enough, but we'll make do with the space that we're looking for, because that's what our budget can afford. So.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions?
I'll put a motion in that we accept this, grant this minor variance.
I'll second.
Does that motion include the recommendations in the planner's report?
Yes.
Ready for a vote? Those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you, James. Your application is approved.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time, guys. Cheers.
Mr. Chairman and committee, just to give some background to the application. So as you've indicated, it's application number A06-20, owner name Jill Finati, and the agent is Andrew Kehoe of Ducon Contractors. The location is 128 Bayshore Road, so you go through the park to get to it, as you may have noticed in the report. The request for variance is to allow for, in a nutshell, for the cottage to be rebuilt in a different location, to be pushed forward on the lot toward the water a little bit. And that triggers a number of things in the zoning bylaw. So typically, provisions of the zoning bylaw permit the restoration and renovation of what is a non-conforming building or non-complying building. This is a non-complying building because it's currently situated without conformity with the required interior side yards. Normally doing renovations and things like that can be permitted under the bylaw, but this is a relocation. So now we have to reassess those interior side yards. So the interior side yards are generally made consistent with current conditions, with the exception of the push forward of the building. So it needs to have some acknowledgement now in the committee's decision, if it were to be granted, that one, this smaller than required lot and smaller than required frontage lot can be redeveloped. And secondly, that the location of the new home, it can be built where it's being proposed to build with an 18-meter setback from the concrete shore wall and with the interior side yards of 1.4 meters, which is essentially the same as they have now for the most part. The recommended conditions are that Lower Trent Conservation Authority give final approval. I believe we've subsequently to the writing and issuing of the report have received that the chief building official be satisfied with final grading and drainage, because we are dealing with some tighter areas, and that's when these things can be an issue. And lastly, that, or not lastly, but that the Director of Planning and Development is satisfied with final, what we call fenestrations, placement of windows, so that any new windows can respect the privacy of the existing windows of the adjoining homes. And one additional recommendation that is not in the report I would like to add as a result of my site inspection, and that is that there be one parking space be provided on the lot. As right now they show their septic within the front yard, and I don't see that necessarily would provide for a parking space. So that is an added recommended condition. And then the other condition, of course, is that the 20-day appeal period lapses prior to the issuance of the building permit. I'm happy to take any questions if the committee has questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions regarding the report?
Through you, Chair, to the planner. So only one parking spot that you want, not two?
Through the chair, normally we would require two. This is more of a seasonal dwelling area, and it's a smaller home. So I'm satisfied with one parking space, given the site conditions and the history of the uses currently now. I don't think they're just barely able to get a parking space in, if at all. This is boat park there now. I suspect they're using a neighbor's property, or they made reference to a laneway that they're currently using. So I think the gain of one is about the best that the site can accommodate.
Is there room for a parking spot on their fault?
Well,
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to make room. I think the Waterloo biofilter will probably have to be put in the front yard, and the well placement. I think under the code you need to have separation from a well and a septic, but the Waterloo biofilter, I think, might make an exception here because of it's basically a Cadillac system. They say, quote unquote, you can drink from it, but not that anyone would, but it's a very expensive high-end treatment system. So I suspect there might be some exceptions on the code for that, but Northumberland County does our permit issuances. If there is some reflection by the applicant on that condition, then the committee can revisit it, the condition, at the request of the applicant if need be. But I think it's important with the narrowness of the roadway there that there not be really on the road parking. There's not a lot of traffic there, but I can think in peak time that there would be enough.
Okay.
That's correct. The bylaw doesn't really specify whether it's going to be used seasonally or year-round, and I'm thinking a new build in that location, they'll probably be building to a standard that would allow for, full winterization.
Thank you. And second question, I'm not familiar with that septic system. Could you explain that a little bit, please?
The Waterloo biofilter is actually a member of the committee could probably explain it better than I can, but it has little essentially plastic or foam pellets, and the effluent travels through that, and the foam pellets have I don't know, maybe an ionic charge, but there's basically a filter in there, so it's a filter-based system. And if the chair is okay, I would like to defer this question to a committee member, if that's all right. He's a self-professed expert in the area of waste management.
So they use the media as a biomass to collect the bacteria, and it gives it a larger surface area that they can consume all the contaminants going onto it. And with these, they have to be maintained every 3 to 5, depending on the years. They have to be removed, and new ones have to be put in. And they work really, really well, extremely well. They get a very good polished. It's an upgrade from the peat moss systems and stuff that they used to have. Oh, just wait, sorry. I'll just turn it off. I thought it was off. I apologize to the members. And it's an upgrade. It's a very good system, and they're using large scales models of it now for rural large subdivisions and in hamlets where they're putting multiple homes in Hastings, up by Frontenac area, where they're connecting 20, 30 homes to the larger ones of these. So it's just a thing, but it's, you're going from you understand, you have an aerobic thermophilic system.
Yeah.
So, and everything has to stay the same. So you can't switch it to an anaerobic. So it's thermophilic going all the way to saprophilic, I'm sorry, low temperature. And that's what it works. And it polishes the effluent really, really well. Especially where you're on fractured rock and stuff, because your water cone depression for your well is from a long distance. So they could be taking water from the septic system because of the barrier 10, 15, 20 houses away because of the way that they are in the cone depression and the way they do it. These type of systems work really well, better than the old percolation systems, and they treat the waste a lot better. You get a lot of media, and the media stays there. The old system, you would lose your bacteria every time it would go, and you'd get your flush. You would lose. Now it holds it and it keeps it. So you get a good, better filtration, a better consumption of all your organic matter. That's what I hope that answers your question. And you don't need as big a bed and as big as everything. Everything gets reduced. Okay?
Thank you very much. And what area would this take? I mean, is there, we were looking at the parking space, and is that going to be possible?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very small system. They should be able to accommodate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you understand, you don't want to park on it because you don't want to compress everything that you've done on any type of septic system. But they should be able to get their parking space. They do it right. And it's a new system that's coming out. It's being used wisely. I took a course on it about a year and a half ago, and another one 6 months ago. So training on it. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much for referring to me, Mr. Walsh.
Yeah, just one. See, your proposal's changing the building line or along there, and I wonder if we have any comments from people from Lot 27 on this.
Through the chair to the member, we have no comments from any of the neighbors, and I did raise that issue with the applicant, and that's why we have the condition about fenestration being satisfactory to the municipality. Try and address that, and the house to the left there on the plan, it has a fairly defined view line. that doesn't appear to, you see how it's oriented to look to the, I guess that would be to the west, to the northwest. So it would not be impacted too horribly by that step up of the building. The one to the in lot 27 maybe more so, but I believe the applicant also owns that lot.
Thank you.
Just looking at the site, there are 2 trees behind the existing building, and I'm presuming those will come down.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I noticed that as well, and I presume the same thing. They aren't any, it's not American butternut or anything of a significant species, but it does appear there's 2 tangled up to. One was a cedar, of course, that would be a native species. The other one, I think, was Manitoba maple, and that would be native as well, but nothing of a considered a high-end tree species.
Thank you. Is there any correspondence regarding this application?
We've received none at 67 Sharp Road for the planning department.
Any other discussion on the proposal? I think we're ready for a motion.
Move approval subject to the conditions in the report plus the planner's recommendation for parking spot.
No discussion, we'll call for a motion or vote, I mean. Those in favor? Well, thank you, everybody. I think that concludes our meeting. I don't think we have a date for another meeting, but hopefully we'll be able to have the next meeting without the 6-foot social distancing and all of those other funny things. Thank you again.
Thank you.